Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Polybridge. This first level is going to be really cool. Let's jump into this. Let's go to it. It's called Water Under the Bridge. Now this is quite simple to understand. There's the instructions. Basically, the boat's going to come through first, then this has to get from one side to the other, and it's got to go lower down. So the bridge has got a lower in the middle, and I thought, okay, yeah, we've got this anchor point here, we can do something with hydraulics. And then I noticed it. There are no anchor points at either side here, are there? So that's something to be considered. But why you no place? Cannot create any road there. Interesting. I don't know why, but we can do this. Can I then create road from here? Good, good. Okay. That's not really too much of an issue then, is it? So let's actually move that back. Here's my idea. Here's how I think we're going to play this one. We're going to start off with that there, and we'll drag this out like all the way, yeah, something like that. So let's keep that slope going. Is that going to be enough for the star? I don't think it will. I think we might have to lower it a bit anyway. So that's sort of looking reasonable-ish so far. Let's delete all of this. Here's my idea. What we're going to do is copy, then mirror and place it like that. Okay, now this is probably going to need to be tweaked. As you can see, it's not centered. There needs to be a bit more going on, so I'm probably going to take a couple of attempts at this. But that looks more centered, doesn't it? And I think it will probably get the star from about there, so that's fine. Let's see what happens when we turn off the grid now and we get rid of that. Can we drag you over a little bit further? Yes, but possibly not enough, possibly not quite enough. Let's do the same thing on this side over here. Okay, there we go. All of these could actually be dragged out a little bit longer. It's the nature of the grid, so if I were to just do this off camera in a moment, we could probably get all of that sorted. Anyway, if it isn't obvious what we're doing at this point, we are going to connect this all together with some framework. And again, we'll be using the copy and paste tool. I think that was actually better there, wasn't it? And then we're going to lift the entire bridge up together at once, which is going to be kind of crazy. Now, look at what it's choosing to snap to there. That's actually unfortunate for us. We're going to have to copy that bit and do that. Yeah. Anyway, let's get this built up a little bit and see how it goes. So, build it up a little bit. I mean, this isn't going to work. You don't need me to tell you that. There it goes. Collapses straight away. This really does just need to be built out of steel. But anyway, the point that I was going to make is once we built it to the correct position, what we would do is highlight the whole thing, we'd cut it and then we'd paste it higher up. You see, now it can be above the bridge and we don't have to worry about it going lower down and coming up to the right height over on this side. And then the hydraulics have simply got to work from this point. Now, will that hold up? That actually seemed to do a tiny bit better, didn't it? Maybe with some steel supports just going through the middle here. Oh, do you know what? If we mess around with this a little bit, we might just be able to get it to do a little bit better here. No, it's actually looking pretty terrible. I want to throw on a few more just to find out if we can actually make this work. Will you also go over there? You won't. So that's our last attempt. Nope. Right, let's rebuild this entire thing. So getting used to these building tools, like being able to copy and like flip and rotate, just makes building so much easier, especially with the grid off here, because all of this has been built away from the grid, but I've been able to copy the slope over and over again, and then, you know, build one side, mirror the other one. Anyway, what's interesting here is the weight of all of this on the side seems to sort of bring it down to the center. So if I were to remove these cables on either side, what you would see is that it collapses at the middle. Interestingly enough, it's not collapsing the same way it did before I added these, which is just kind of odd. So let's watch it now. It's a tiny bit different, but you can see the problem with it. And I was just wondering if maybe we didn't put so much attention on this point right here by deleting that this would actually work. Now you can see that we'd have to adjust the height of this a little bit, maybe that as well. Get a nice box shape there with some triangles. Now, what if we made it so that this was like a... Well, how are we actually going to do this? If I create a road from there to the center, then I copy this and use the rotate tool. You see, I can put it with the exact correct length that we need. I can put it somewhere else. So let's rotate it by 60. That's not going to be enough. Let's go to 50. Right, that'll just about fit in. No, it won't. Maybe we need even more space there. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Then we can click flip over here. Oh, apparently that doesn't work. Why would that not work? Let's copy. Okay, now it works, right? So they're identical. They could meet at the middle and become basically a split joint, so they will connect at the middle after. So then the hydraulics can be connected here, right? And yeah, then that happens. So I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen, but it did, didn't it? Is there any way that we could put steel underneath the bridge as well? That's so cheeky. I don't know if they thought of people doing that. Would that even... actually helps. Now, does the boat... Right, the boat would actually go through that. That's unbelievable that you could get away with that. That's now the way that I want to do this. Just have a floating boat. And what about when that thing gets on? Oh, then it all falls apart there. Oh dear. Well, I'm over budget. I don't have enough place for the hydraulics to extend this down far enough. And I just cannot get it to work. Every now and then it looks like it's going to work, but the real problem here is just the width, you know, and the way that the tension gets distributed. I'm not really sure if I can actually describe it, but I can sort of visualize how it's making these bits right here weak when there's weight on it. So, you know, that's not good enough. Then this thing comes on, and then it collapses there, and then before you know it, it's all over. Now, a couple of things that I've changed here is added in these bits to sort of keep it pressed on either side, but that doesn't seem to be too great in terms of stopping this thing from wobbling, and I'm just wondering if something like that would stop it wobbling more. I don't think it does, because is that fixed to there, or is it going to be like it's free floating? Let's see what it does actually. That might be quite convenient for us. It appears to help, actually. I mean, it almost seems like it did a little bit better, but as soon as it starts to rock, it pushes up against one side, and then the steel sort of gives in. So I can't help but feel I got the wrong idea about how to do this one. Okay, I've lowered the whole thing down underneath, and I figured we'd just pull it up and see what happens. This is surprisingly promising, and I made a slight adjustment to the hydraulics here, which we're going to test, because this car went straight into the side of that. But as you'll hear here, that seems... yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. That, to me, I think is our way to do this. We just got to figure out, like this probably, right, actually no. The weight of them either side might sort of force a lot onto that bit in the middle, because I'm thinking, hold it up with a rope. A lot cheaper. It looks like we need to get some support just over here, and that can go that far across, as it can on the other side, and then maybe some tweaks to the size of this up above will bring it down enough to be in budget. Let's speed it up. Slow it down. I might need to tweak the hydraulics a little bit as well, so this is a little bit smoother, because it falls down. Yes! Yes! That's what I'm talking about. Oh, we did it! But we are over budget, and considering how much of a leap forward we just made, let's try and do that and be in budget, and then also we might jump up the leaderboard a little bit. Well, much to my dismay, I've been playing the tweaking game. I mean, that was different to last time. What? So I tweak something, right? You know, you move this here, you move that there, and then I go like and undo it if it doesn't work. This time when I undid it, it just stopped working again, and so I've been trying to tweak things about, and I can't get it back to where it was working. But I got myself up to, I think, 80th on the leaderboard. Can we actually see that? Let's go exit. Let's go click on that. Like, oh, the whole thing's gone now. I probably can't see where I am on the leaderboard. Look at that, my memory's correct. It was 80 on the leaderboard, so that's as low as I got it. And man, look at these high scores. Some people are pros at this game. Jaso, how did you do it? Anyway, let's go on to the next level, which is called Transformer. We spent a lot of time on the last one. This one looks crazy complex as well, and it looks like we've got a plane coming through as well. So, A1 and A2, those go first of all. Then we have hydraulics, so the car goes at the same time as the boat. Then we have a plane and a car. So looks like the bridge is going to be above. Then it needs to go below so the airplane can go above. Then that happens. So hydraulics again. It's another boat. Right, so it just needs to go up and down, up and down, up and down sort of thing. Okay, so judging by this layout right here, I reckon you're looking at having some steel props, something like this, with some cables behind them and then some hydraulics going down to the middle. As I say that, it might not be that easy because the car needs to go across and be above here, doesn't it? So let's just drag that all the way across. Yeah, somehow this whole thing has got to, well, it's not just got to raise up above the boat, it's got to take the car from the side as well. So it's got to transform from one shape to the other. So I reckon what it'll be a case of doing is having it like that by default, or that'll be the piece like there, and then it gets lowered down. Now when it gets lowered down it'll become longer, but that's the way that we'll build this thing. And that might be tricky because it starts in the downwards position. But yeah, let's aim to do that. Let's aim to do that. So this is what I'm talking about. I don't know if we'll stick with this little setup on the side, but then we want this to be a structure and for it to be lowered down with some hydraulics. Now what we've got to do is make this thing flat. So we will rotate it. In fact, look at it behind us. We can just eyeball it so it goes straight. Okay, 25? No, 23 looks to be the degree. Right, so that'll place there. What about this one then? So I'm going to copy that. We're going to rotate it the other... No, that's too sensitive, too sensitive. We've learned that it's 23. Right, and therefore it doesn't want to place the last one, which is unfortunate. Is there any way I can get it to do that? Like, hey, come on now, what's going on? Like, no, you just don't want to place in the middle of another road, do you? Ah, that may not be it then. So I'm an idiot. Yes, I know this. I make these mistakes all the time. This is actually the way it starts. I got it stuck in my head that it was going to be flat first of all. So the big problem should be obvious as soon as you watch that car go over. Yikes, that does not work, does it? And I'm wondering if we can get away with one here. That didn't seem to work. Maybe just having iron from there to... No? Is it because of that? It is because of that. Interesting. Yeah, maybe just having iron from there to there would be enough to make that work, and it'd be a bit of a cheeky one, but it doesn't work. So what it means is that this bit here needs to be flat, so that means then we need to rebuild this so it's at a different slope, but then would have another set of hydraulics here that would adjust, so when it lowers itself down, rather than this being, you know, then pointing down further, it would come back up again thanks to hydraulics. But I think what I'm going to do is literally just start all over again. Okay, I'm feeling slightly more confident that we can make progress. I'll point out the finite differences in a moment. There you go, over goes the car. The key thing there is that we stopped it jumping, and now, whoa, see you later. Oh, what a disaster. What a disaster. So this was set to 15, I think it needs to be more like 25 maybe. Well, yeah, there we go. Let's try 25. Okay, so this has been leaned over, and I think what helps here is that there's a straight line downwards. That was intentional. It actually almost looks like maybe it's not a straight line. What we can do is look for the grid lines. They get highlighted. Yeah, it is actually a straight line down. And then that means the hydraulics from there to there provides a lot more support for the entirety of the bridge because it's further up. So, yep, that one goes across. Okie dokie. Right, now, moment of truth. Oh, that. Oh, so close. So close, yet so far. Now, when we move this down a little bit, we unfortunately mess with the hydraulics. So although that might be enough to avoid the wheels of the plane, it might not be enough for this to be flat again. Let's see. And now the entire road isn't very flat as well. It's a bit bumpy. Oh. I thought we had it. I thought we had it. So again, needs to be lower. Looks like the whole thing might need to be a bit lower. Right, let's speed this one up. Okay, that bit went by okay, and then it's still going to bump into it. So the problem is the whole thing needs to be a bit lower. Okay, this didn't work, and I think the reason why is because we need a stronger connection here. this could well and truly bring us over budget. Now, that is just sort of hanging down at the moment. I think we need an additional support there, but then I look at that and think, is that any better? Maybe we need something from underneath to create a triangle with. I don't know how that's going to affect this first bit. It seems to actually help it, if anything. And I've got all of this adjusted just perfectly now. Look at that. Perfection. But this car comes across. Oh, it lasted a little bit longer there. Just a little bit longer. But really, nothing more to say other than that, is there? Maybe actually, we're not over budget yet. Maybe we'll try it like this. Okay, so turn off the grids. We've got to copy that over to the other side. Copy. Flip it. There we go. Is that actually... No, that can go further across. Alright. So that should be giving it a lot more support. We are just in budget and... Oh, man, it gets so far and then it falls apart. It's when it goes on to the other side that it's having issues. So I think we should zoom in and focus on... Right, pause that. Now, that needs to be further out by a little bit, because look, there's a bump. If we get rid of that bump, we might just be okay. Some slow motion action here. Yeah, the bump is a big deal, I think. So let's tweak this a little bit. Look at this, look at this, look at this. What we need is some reinforcing over here. You see I put wood down there? I mean, I had tweaked a lot of this, tried a few different things, and then the more I looked at it, it just felt like this bit here was weak, which stopped it from working. So we've seen the first one go over it a whole bunch of times. Let's slow it down, if I could talk normally, for the second one. And you saw there that it didn't collapse, and that's because these extra bits of wood alongside the road really help out. They make a huge difference, and that's something we need to use more often, I think, because we strengthen those triangles at their weakest point. Or at least the point where they always seem to break, right? And that's it, we did it, and pretty cool score, 57. I like it when we get up there into the higher regions, and yeah, there you go. So these levels are getting trickier and trickier. Zen Gardens is next with 5 new levels, and that, which means that we didn't do it under budget, but I probably won't do that one again. Yeah, this is going to take me a while. Look at this. This looks like a real tricky one right here. So I figured that we'd actually just make this one today, a little bit shorter. So if you have enjoyed it, please do leave a like. As always, thank you so much for your support on these videos, and I'll see you soon with some more Polybridge. Bye-bye.